This is day 1608. 1608. Let me go through here and see if I'm on. Okay, if you can hear me, yeah. Okay, everything's working great. I can see I'm coming on very late tonight. It just can't be helped. I wanted to come on around 10. It's just been really, really busy because we had to get a very important story right. And so let me begin. It is 1,608 days since Richard was brutally code red murdered on Fort Bliss. And that happened because he exposed that his unit was engaged in weapons trafficking and more and more. And we have that confirmed that his unit is connected to the Walmart mass shooting, that his unit is connected to weapons trafficking. There is no doubt in that. And so, of course, when he was murdered, and right after they found Vanessa Guillen's dismembered remains in that very sophisticated grave, charred, they were really in bad trouble. They were in bad trouble. The military was in bad trouble. And so, and of course, the ones that are involved in the trafficking, with the El Paso cartel, with the Mexican cartels, they went and covered it up. They tried very hard. And so here we are over 4 years, and it is all coming together. And one of the, of course, during 2021, it was very hard in 2020 and 2021 because of all of the mandates during that time. It was just absolutely insanity. And then with that breaking and more witnesses coming forward, more pieces starting to come together, making more sense. And of course, Sean Bernabe, we have information now that there are audios. We're hoping to get them. That there are audios out there that confirm that Sean Bernabe was ordering the obstruction of justice in Richard's case. I think that is huge. That's huge news. Then, of course, we have information out there that Leilani Hart is under great, great scrutiny. It's like, who's going to be arrested first? Leilani Hart? Because no matter what, she has to be arrested, right? If the law is followed, she has to be arrested. Because at the exact same time, during that same days apart, right? The same time, July 2020, that Richard was murdered, she filed a confession, and she had that confession notarized. And that confession is really important because it is so severe. It is many federal crimes that she is confessing to and implicating her family, including the child porn, including the immigration violation, including the purchasing of illegal weapons, including the abuse in the worst kind of way of a 7-year-old, facilitating, and failing to report the abuse of a 7-year-old in the worst way in her home, in her master bedroom, by multiple members of her family. And of course, within her family, um, really, really the worst type of child abuse between each other. And I really can't say it on these live streams because it's just so bad. And, you know, um, so she is admitting to all of that, which means if there's truth to it, then James Courtney Hart needs to be arrested also. Dallas Hart needs to be arrested also. Some others need to be. She really implicates quite a few. And if she lied to, you know, this is what, you know, if she lied, then that's also a crime. And that's the whole thing with Nadal Baim, right? About Richard's remains being in Juarez and him being the father-in-law of Bradford Bugado. And we're getting reports in that Bradford Bugado is under scrutiny also, that he was tampering with Richard's case in the worst way. Um, and that, you know, they were up to they were up to no good. And we have hard evidence. Um, we have hard evidence on Adal Beam, and you know, people are coming forward. They're sick. You know, they're sick and tired of this lawlessness. They're sick and tired of our system being exploited. And Leilani Hart, you know, that's why the scrutiny is happening so late, right, in the whole thing, because there's no statute of limitations in a murder case. I don't think so. You know, please tell me. And so, you know, we're hearing that finally, after all of this mess and because of the change of administration, that people are starting to believe in the rule of law again, right? They're saying, "Oh, we better put the 10 commandments in the schools again. Oh, we better you know, as law enforcers, we better um start scrutinizing some of these lawless individuals." Um because if you are covering for them, if you are, you know, aiding and abetting, or if you're just watching, if you're just um, you know, letting it all happen, then you can also be charged. And in Texas, you don't want to be charged in this case because it can be, the penalties can be very, very bad. Um, so, you know, we're hearing that Leilani Hart is under great scrutiny. We're hearing that Bradford Bugado, the lieutenant colonel, that is the son-in-law of Nadal Baim, is under great scrutiny, of course. Um, you know, there's just Bill Hicks. Bill Hicks is under great, great scrutiny uh, for, you know, his failure in every way. Failure in every way. And please share that information that he was withholding information and maybe even exculpatory information in cases, um, forcing the defendants to make choices that they didn't need to make. You know, that's torture. That is absolutely torture for those people, and it's so unjust. So, you know, and of course, we've been reporting on it and filing on it for way over a year about Bill Hicks, and you know, a lot longer about Leilani Hart, and and about Bradford Bugado. Bradford Bugado was the longest, right? Um, it's been a long time since that we have been covering him and Nadal Baim in connection to these LLCs, in connection to border activity. And so we're very, very glad that we're coming on late tonight because that means there was a lot of action behind the scenes. And that all tells you that there is a breach, that there is a breach and that there is a problem in El Paso, that there is lawlessness, and that the leadership there are some that are up to no good. And so that segues us right into the breaking news. The breaking news, which is really, we're still, and, just know that this is very breaking news. And, the level of it is so high. Um, I even wrote down a few notes because the level of it is so high that I have to try to understand what's going on. And you can see that in the posts. Um, so we were notified of a meeting, and it seems to have been a secret meeting because we're not seeing it really covered. And it's a very, very big deal. It's a huge deal when the president of Mexico zooms in to talk to officials in El Paso, right? That's a big deal. Scheinbaum, Mexican President Scheinbaum, called in through, I believe, maybe a Zoom, and to have a meeting with officials from El Paso. And it wasn't Blinken. Um, what, you know, what is, it wasn't President Trump, President-elect Trump, right? It wasn't, President Biden. It wasn't a reciprocal, it wasn't a counterpart. I'm, uh, the normal protocol, the legal protocol. And we've come across this before with the State Department General Counsel meeting with Juarez officials. I don't know if you remember when that happened. Um, that was our first lesson on this, that these unequal counterparts, these, with with uneven reciprocal powers or authorities were meeting. And that's weird. That stinks. That stinks of a little bit of conniving, of collusion, of really breaking some laws. And if you don't know the laws, you just know it stinks, right? You just know something is not right if you have this uneven kind of meeting. You know, Oscar Leeser meeting with President Scheinbaum. What? That's was Representative Veronica Escobar there? It doesn't say that, right? It doesn't say that. Like, President Trump is going to meet with a local official from Juarez? That, you know, Those are unequal scales. The scales, it's not equal. It doesn't work. And so if it doesn't work, then laws must be being violated. That's what we've been looking into tonight to try to wrap our head around this picture that we posted of, um, Oscar Leeser. And then I believe that is the Mexican Secretary of State. And then the next man is the mayor of Juarez, which is in like a battleground right now. Which means what is he doing in El Paso? Meeting. Um, I don't know, with the Secretary of State of Mexico and the Mexican president with Oscar Leeser, and then the county judge, Samaniego, Ricardo Samaniego, who is, all kinds of red flags go up when I see him. Because remember, he is the follow up from Veronica Escobar. Veronica Escobar, not being a lawyer or anything, but she, they just call this kind of like county mayor a judge, right? So she was this county judge, Veronica Escobar, that brought in illegally the medical examiner, also approved the payments for um, these illegal individuals to impersonate judges in the El Paso Criminal Law Magistrate Court, right? She approved the payment for them, right? That's what her job entails. And that's what his job. He has continued to pay these impersonators that are violating the rights of many, many individuals, including Patrick Crucius, botching the cases. Who wants to botch a mass shooting case, right? Well, he just did because he approved the payment of impersonators. And as soon as Patrick Crucius gets a decent defense attorney, because Joe Spencer, we know, is not, he's just interested in the open checkbook. He's just interested in the delay, because they've incentivized delays by this open checkbook. It's just a perpetual job. Let me just really good pay, $3 million to begin with, $1 million every year after that, 5 years, who knows how many millions of dollars going into this Walmart case for delay. And yeah, so, when I look at Ricardo Samaniego, I'm just thinking violation, violator, violator, violation, violator. I mean, he's just a violator, right? He's just so, they get these fancy names, or they put on these beautiful uniforms, and yet they're up to no good. And he's one of them. I know for sure that he's up to no good. And so here he is in this meeting that is very stinky, that is really, really stinky. And you think, oh, meetings, maybe they're going to do something. Well, what are they trying to do here? They're meeting with unequal counterparts. They're scheming. It looks like they're scheming to be a sanctuary city, to go against it says in the article that they are trying to figure out what they're going to do to try to get around President Trump's mass deportation. Well, wait a minute. That's federal law. That's going against the US president's policy. Why do we even have elections? Oh, yeah, these people, they don't care about elections? They want to violate elections by tampering with, or really committing to me when you're trying to get around or get ahead of policies coming forth so that you can violate those policies and do whatever you want instead of following the policies. Um, I call that it seems to me stinky treason to me. So, what are some of so we looked it up and it's like, okay, it absolutely violates the US Constitution because it's interfering in foreign policy. You're talking about border issues. You're talking about border security. You're talking about illegals, illegals, and immigration violations and foreign relations. I mean, my goodness, the president of Mexico was on the phone attending this meeting. I, they were, up to no good. And so Oscar Leeser and Ricardo Samaniago, and was Veronica Escobar there? I mean, who else attended? There was some other Mexican officials that let's see, I think I wrote their names down, but I don't think I have them in front of me. Um, that are just plotting and conspiring how they're going to deal how are they going to violate President Trump's mass deportation when President Trump received a mandate, an election mandate to secure the border, to send home those that have come into the country illegally? Can you imagine if this meeting happened in China? Can you imagine if this meeting happened in China? What would happen? And so then, of course, they're um, interfering with foreign policy, interfering with immigration, interfering with foreign relations. And then you have officials, you have foreign officials influencing domestic policy. That's what's going on here. Undermining our national security. You have foreign officials influencing domestic policy. We also have, um, you know, domestic officials influencing domestic um, policy, but not for the good, to undermine national security. That is, yeah. Then you have, that's very serious. Then you have the Logan Act. Um, y'all, you cannot have this unequal scales, unequal counterparts, right? Um, so unauthorized citizens negotiating with foreign governments. Oscar Leeser, whether you like him or not, is not authorized to be negotiating with the president of Mexico. Okay? It just doesn't work that way. And the same thing with Samaniego. Ricardo Samaniego, is not authorized to be negotiating with the president of Mexico. And this absolutely violates laws that say that you cannot compromise U.S. national security. Of course you can't. That's absolutely, you know, when you're doing that, it's treason, right? It's treason. Um, and when you are working for a foreign government, you have to register. So are they going to lobby for Mexico? I don't know. I don't know what they were doing, but it's very stinky. Um, it's very, very stinky. The whole immigration, going against the sovereignty of the United States, um, trying to plot maybe legal. I don't know what why wasn't this meeting covered? It should have been covered. Just like why hasn't the FBI notarized affidavit confession of the mother of Richard's platoon leader not covered? Why is that not covered? So there is absolutely interference and tampering, and that's all starting to fade away. It's all starting to fade away, and we are getting some really amazing feedback. And this is one of them. This is one of them. I'm so glad. Thank you to the person that sent us this article to show what Ricardo Semeniago is up to, what Oscar Leeser is up to, right? And yeah, that's really, really important. So I just want to thank everyone. I know it's really late tonight, and we've been really working behind the scenes, filing just report after report after report. So, we'll, if you know about this meeting, about the president meeting with Oscar Leeser and with Ricardo Semeniago, then please let me know. But it seems very, very stinky. And it seems like they're trying to figure out a way to be like a sanctuary city so they don't have to listen to their president, to the commander in chief. So thank you so much. God bless you.